ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां व्यासशंकरमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So we are in our Veda Suktam class. In the previous class we looked at the invocation prayer, invocation mantra. So we'll do that here as well. So the people who know chanting, you can follow at your own pace. Om Yaschandasam Rishabho Vishwarupaha Chandobhyo Dhyamritaat Sambhabhuva Samendro Medaya Asprunothu Amritasya Devadharano Bhuyasam Shariram Me Vicharshanam Jihva Me Madhumathama Karna Abhyam Bhuri Vishrubham Brahmana Koshosi Medaya Pihitaha Shrutam Me Gopaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we saw up to this the mantra as well. So today we will proceed ahead. Next, the main crux of the mantra. So any mantra as they start with Om. So Om is a pranava. So it is the auspicious way to begin anything. So we never start anything without the Om. Om Medha Devi. Om Medha Devi. Jushamana. Jushamana. Om Medha Devi. Jushamana. Om Medha Devi Jushamana Agaad. Om Medha Devi Jushamana Agaad. Vishwachi Bhadra. Vishwachi Bhadra. Sumanasyamana. Sumanasyamana. Om Medha Devi Jushamana Agaad. Vishwachi Bhadra Sumanasyamana. So that is the first line. So the word Om symbolizes, we saw the meaning of Akara, Ukara and Makara, the waking state, dream state, the deep sleep state. And Om symbolizes all the letters. Letters, they form the words. So the words need letters as the adharam. Without the letters, the words cannot be formed. And without the Om, the letters cannot exist. And every word denotes an object of knowledge. So an object of knowledge is which is starting from the physical body, mind sense complex, extending out to everything which is in this universe. So Om symbolizes the entire Srishti or Jagat. And Om also symbolizes that which is unmanifest. So in the deep sleep state, the objects are not manifest. So that's a complete definition of Om. More elaboration is talked about in the Mandukya Upanishad. The Om is described for about 25 pages. It's a big bhasha. So we don't need to look at it now, but when you come to study the Upanishad at some point of time, you will know what Om is at that level of detail. So Om. Then the next one is called Medha. So Medha itself means intellect, sharpness, capacity to retain, assimilate. And the word Medha is refers to Dhi. Dhi means intellect, Dhihi. So Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. So Dhimahi means give me the intellect. So same here also, Medha represents the feminine gender. It reflects the goddess Saraswati, the one who is responsible for the intellect. So Medha. So who goddess Medha? Who is responsible for giving the intellect called Dhihi. So Dhi means Dhiranavati Dhihi. Dhiranavati iti Medha. So Dhiranavati means the one who is holder of Dhi, or the one who is bestower of Dhi. He is called Medha. So Dhiranavati. So all Vati means it's a female name. So Gunavati. So Gunavati means the one who is holder of gunas, or the person who is he. So Gunavati. So Dhiranavati. So Medha. Okay. So Om Medha. Then what does he ask? Jushamana. So Jushamana means here blessing. So here we are asking for the blessing of to Medha Devi. For what? For intellect. For having the right intellect, for having the capacity to retain what we have learned. That is why this particular suktam is called Veda Vismarana Mantra. Veda Vismaranam. So Smaranam means remembering. And Vismaranam means remember it very well. We should not forget it. So always this suktam is invoked right in the beginning of any prayer, so that whatever we learn subsequently is not forgotten, because our memory is very sharp, not very strong. Despite all this thing, our memory can age over a period of time, just like any other battery which just drains out, charging. Finally, the batteries, you have to chuck it out and buy a new battery completely. Same way, our intellect also goes through the same process. We are very sharp initially. Afterwards, the intellect starts to not support us. So here the prayer is for having a long lasting intellect. So Jushamana. So it's a blessing. Then. So the word Jushamana na. So the word naha is not negation. Naha means us. So bless us. So here the word naha does not mean no, it means us. So Ho Medha Devi, bless us, or we seek your blessing. So na aghat. So aghat means let her come. So Ho Medha, you please come and bless me with the intellect required. Then Vishwachi. So Vishwachi is the next word. So Aghat Vishwachi. So Vishwachi means all knowing, all pervading. So the one who is the knower of everything is called all knowing. So Vishwachi. So these are adjectives for Medha. So the Medha is what? Of the nature of Jushamana. The one who is of the nature of blessing, who blesses. Second thing is Vishwachi, who is of the nature of all-knowing. Then Bhadra. So Bhadra is the next one. So Bhadra means what? auspiciousness. So Badram Karne Bishruniyama Devaha. So when I say Badram Karne Bihi, means let me hear only auspicious things from through my ears. Badram Pashyema Shabir Vijatraha. So same Badra also means what? Auspiciousness. So here the request is for the Medha or the goddess of intellect to bless us with the right intellect. Because only with the right intellect you can decide what is right or wrong. If you don't have the intellect or the viveka, if you don't have the buddhi, supposing, right, then how do we know what is right or wrong? The animal doesn't have the intellect to decide right or wrong. It's a purely instinctive, creature. So instinctive means it's just, you go and stand in front of an animal, it doesn't know what to react. It sees you either as a threat or it sees you as something which is a strange creature. It will try to do different things. So it doesn't know whether you're a human being or you are a pandita, you are studying Shastram, it doesn't know anything. That's why we have the discriminative capacity, the viveka. So here we are asking for the discriminative capacity or the knowing to distinguish between right and wrong. So Badra, auspiciousness, clarity of thinking, clarity of perception, clarity of deed. So all of these are being asked. So you're not just asking for intellect, you're asking for clarity of thought, clarity of perception, clarity in deed. See, very small mantra, one line, but it has got so much of power-packed information there. So Vishwachi, all-knowing. Jushamana means come and bless us. Bhadra, auspiciousness. Mangalam, Kalyanam. Bhadra is also known as Kalyanam. Mangalam. They're all same meaning. Then Sumanasya Mana. So Su means very pleasing. So Su means very, and Manasya Mana means very pleasing. So she is of the nature of pleasing nature, pleasing minded. That means in order for us to be pleasing or our mind to be pleasing or happy, we have to be doing the right things. If you do the wrong things or if you do the wrong things, definitely our mind will be very disturbed. We also know we don't need other people to tell. See, we do not need other people to tell that you are doing wrong or you are doing wrong. We ourselves know first, because we try to hide that we do not know. We try to hide behind saying that, oh, sorry, I don't know about it. I accidentally did this. But we very well know sometimes that we are doing something not correct. Maybe intentional, not intentional, doesn't matter. So here the request is for helping us being dharmic or helping us to be follow dharma. Our actions should be following dharma so that we do not disturb the order. So the word Sumanasya Mana means bless us with the knowledge, with the intellect to distinguish between the right and the wrong. And having the power to know what you can achieve and what you cannot achieve. Having the power to know what you can do and what you cannot do, and to know the difference between the two. So that is the definition of the word Sumanasya Mana. So Sumanasya Mana means our actions should be should be dharmic. There should be clarity in our action, and we should not be disturbing the order. So Mana means here the mind, and the one which is the one which creates, or you should have a pleasant mind here. That's what it says here. Okay. So, Om Medha Devi Jushamanana Agaat Vishwachi Bhadra Sumanasya Mana. Okay, that's the first line. The next, Tvaya Jushta, Tvaya Jushta Nudamana, Tvaya Jushta Nudhamana Dhuruktaan, Dhuruktaan, Tvaya Jushta Nudhamana Dhuruktaan, Brihat Vadhema, Brihat Vadhema, Vidhate Suvira Aha, Vidhate Suvira Aha, Tvaya Jushta Nudhamana Dhuruktaan, Brihat Vadhema, Vidhate Suvira Aha. So, first word, Tvaya, means by you. So, Tvaya means by you. So, Jushtam, when you say here, Jushta means the one who is blessed or the one who is blessed by you. So, the one who is blessed by you. Nudamana. So, Nudamana here means giving up or giving up those actions which are unwanted things or pushing aside. So, you can say Nudamana means you leave aside those things. Just doing something else you can add to this. So Nudamana also means being happy. So when you give up things which is unwanted, you tend to be happy. If you carry a lot of baggage or you have unnecessary things to worry about, then you are not happy. So Nudamana also here indicates another meaning, being said by pushing aside, by leaving things which are not required, you make us happy. So Tvaya, by you, Jushta means we are fortunate, we are blessed to be by you, as mentioned in the previous mantra. Nudamana, so Sumanasyamana Nudamana. So by giving up or by then making us happy. Duruptan. See, Duruptan here actually sometimes also means come quickly. But Duruptan here talks about not indulging in unnecessary activity, not indulging in unnecessary speech. So here the mantra is for the intellect. And always intellect, when you have the buddhi, you tend to talk, because what does the vritti do? The vritti actually makes you, the thought comes to your mind, the thoughts identify an object, and the thoughts form the word, correct? So without the thoughts being there, the words cannot come. So when you have the right intellect, then the right words will come. When you don't have the right intellect, the wrong things can come to your mind also, and it will reflect in the words of speech. So all we are asking here is that let me be blessed always with the right intellect. Sometimes we have the wrong intellect. So let me be moving towards right intellect, and let me focus on developing that attitude of speaking the right things and leaving aside Nudamana. So leaving aside the wrong words, the wrong aspects which I want to leave it. So by segregating that, one tends to be happy. That's what it says here. So So here actually it means Nudamana also can indicate that a person has got Purushartha Nishya. A person has got Purushartha Nishya. I hope you know, right? You don't forget that. So the Shuklam Bharadram class is Purushartha Nishya. You do not forget that. You may forget everything else, but do not forget Purushartha Nishya. So Artha, Kama, Dharma and Moksha. So one knows what is Artha, what is Kama, what is Dharma and what is Moksha. And a person always is in the pursuit of Moksha or discovering the freedom through Artha, through Dharma and Kama. So very important that the ultimate goal has to be understood. So if Moksha is not the Parama Purushartha, then this life is useless. The whole life is not really worth. You can live the life. Bhagavan says that people are also living. Everybody is living, you can also live. But really speaking, the whole purpose of living this life is to discover why I am living, why I have come here. What am I doing in this universe? And how do I realize my own true nature? For that you need the intellect. If you don't have the intellect, or if you don't have the right attitude to learn, then you will never be able to pursue this knowledge. One can do so many things. One can have a pandityam in Sanskrit, one can know pandityam in karmas, rituals, etc. But a person, he will not know anything about it. So you need to have the right intellect. That's why he's asking here, dhuruktam, that is unwanted speech or unwanted activities. Then Brihat. So Brihat represents here the Atma or the consciousness or the Brahman. So Brihat talks about here Brahman. That which is massive is called Brihat. That which is incomprehensible is called Brihat. Which cannot be measured, which cannot be quantified is called Brihat. And that is called Brahman. So, Brihat Vadhema. So, Vadati means speak. And Vadhema means let me speak or let me speak about it. So, let's speak about that Brahman, that consciousness, which is of the nature of Brihat. Vidate. So, vid means to know, and vidate means having understood. So, vidhi means may you know. So, vid is knowledge. Atma vid, Kritsna vid, they're all knowledge. A person who knows the Atma is called Atma vid. Correct. A person who knows enjoyer is called Atma vid also. So, here vidate means having understood in this manner. Having understood in this manner the Brahman or the consciousness. Suviraha. So Suvira here talks about the intellectual sharpness. Intellectual sharpness, and let us be alert. Let us be sharp, and let us also be here good, people and good shishyas. So good children, you can say. So you should be good children of Vedanta. So it says good people and good shishyas. So we must be good students of Vedanta and good students of Dharma. So by studying Vedanta, what you achieve is one achieves, one understands what is Dharma. And one is committed to the life of Dharma. So Vedanti will very, very rarely, go in a dharmic manner. Because the concept, the way it is trained, whether you like it or not, you will get converted slowly. And sometimes it is a problematic thing because other people will say, what happened to this person? He was a nice person before. Suddenly all these things about dharma, adharma, he's talking about wrong things, right things. Then what is all these things? Previously he was all doing everything okay. But now he's talking about law, order, Bhagavan, Ishvara, Niyati, Dharma, Adharma. So all these things they talked about, the person will be confused. But it is good for you because you have definitely, separated from all these things and you have taken a different course. So there will be a distinction, there will be disturbance for the person who is following this. But it's a good disturbance and better to have the disturbance than not living with those kind of ethics. That's why he says here, let's be good children. Suvira. So vidate, having understood what consciousness is, having understood what Brahman is, having understood this concept of Brahman by having the Viveka, having the intellect blessed by you, let's be good children, let's follow the Vedanta, let's follow Dharma. That is the meaning of this verse. So when you chant, it is very easy. Vidate Suviraha, Vidate. So everybody chants. But what is Vidate means, what is Suvira means has to be understood. So now when we chant, Tvaya means Tvaya, Jushta, Nudhamana, Dhuruktan. So Dhuruktan means unnecessary activities, unnecessary speech. So a person who studies Vedanta will not speak. You won't get into controversies. You will stay away from controversies. You're supposed to. If you're not staying away, then you develop the habit of staying away. So you know when to talk and when to keep quiet. Because whatever you talk or whatever you say, it is going to come at a boomerang only for you only. It is not going to affect another person because other person may get affected. Why do you care? See, if ultimately what you are seeking is your happiness, right? So if you want to be happy, you choose what you want to do. So you can do an action, you can choose not to do an action, or you can choose a different action. So three things are possible. So whatever you choose, it will come back to you in bless you in some form or the other, or it will benefit. So that's why he says here, Tvaya Jushta Nudamana Dhuruktaan Brihat Vadhema Vidhathe Suvira Aha Om Medha Devi Jushamana Na Agaat Vishwachi Bhadra Sumanasya Tvaya Jushta Nudamana Dhuruktaan Brihat Vadhema Vidhate Suvira Aha. So that's the first mantra. Then Tvaya Jushta Rishir Bhavati Tvaya Jushta Rishir Bhavati. So if you are chanting something not correctly, you can correct now. Or the people who do not know chanting, you can practice. So this is a chanting class, come meaning class. So most people know this mantra. I taught mantra to these people. Most of them you know. But in case if you do not know, or if you are learning for the first time, you can follow this method, use the recording and then practice. Tvaya Jushta Rishir Bhavati Devi Tvaya Devi Tvaya Brahma. So there were Brahma Gatashri. So these people stand Brahma Gatashri. See, Brahma Gatashri means Brahma, you go away. So Brahma Gatashri. So what do you say? Brahma Agatashri. So you extend the Brahma. So Brahma Gatashri. Then otherwise Brahma Gatashri means Brahma, you go away. You don't want Brahma to go away. You want Brahman to be there with us. So you invite Brahma Agatashri. Please come. So Tvaya Jushta Rishir Bhavati Devi Tvaya Brahma Gatashri Rutatvaya Brahma Gatashri Rutatvaya Tvaya Jushta Rishir Bhavati Devi Tvaya Brahma Gata Shri Rutatvaya. So Tvaya means by you, just as before. Tvaya is by you. Jushta. Jushtam means the one who is blessed by you. Jushtam. So the one who is blessed by you, what does it become? Rishir Bhavati. They become rishis. So what is rishi? The one who sees is called rishi. Rishate iti rishihi. The one who sees is called rishi. I think in Tamil also you know, right? Papan. People call Papan, right? You know Papan? The people who are called Brahmanas, they're called Papan. So actually what Papan means, the word Papan becomes from Parpavan. See, the person who sees is called Parpavan. That is, the one who sees is called Rishi. So the word by practice, the Parpavan becomes Papan. So Papan means in the olden days in the community, oh, he's a Papan, means he's a Brahmana. Means the Brahmana is supposed to be what? Brahmagyanayati Brahmana. The one who knows Brahman is called Brahmana. So the Brahmans are called as Parpavan. The one who sees things clearly is called Brahmana. So the word Parpavan becomes Papan. So, that's why I say Papan Paltija Pasikumba. You know that? So the Shudran when the Paltija Pasikum, Brahmanan when they see the people who are Shudras, when they brush their teeth, they will feel hungry. For the people who are Brahmanas, they will take bath, they will feel hungry. So they'll immediately rush. Anyways, on side note, so nothing criticized. What it says here, Rishir Bhavati. So becomes a Rishi. So Bhavati means becomes. And the one who is blessed by you, the one who is blessed by you in this manner, having the right intellect, having the Viveka, Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka, having understood what Brahman is, and having been good students of Vedanta, good children, Suviraha, what do they become? Tvaya, Jushta. So they become blessed by you and they become Rishi Bhavati. So they become Rishi. Rishi means not some person with jada, chada and everything else. Don't think Rishi is like that. Rishi can be anybody. Rishi is a person who knows, who can see things clearly, who can distinguish between what is right, what is wrong, what is the truth and what is untruth. He is the one who distinguishes. It's called Rishi. So Rishi Bhavati. So one becomes a Rishi. Then Devi Tvaya. So Devi, oh Devi, by you, oh goddess, Devi Tvaya, by you. See, Brahma. See, Brahma, when you say here the word Brahman. So Brahma Agata Shri. So here when you say Brahma Agata Shri means the knowledge of what is Brahman is being welcomed, or what is the truth is being welcomed. Brahman stands for what? Truth, existence. So a person who is blessed by you becomes knowledgeable. He sees things very clearly, and in the wake of seeing things very clearly, one can reasonably understand what Brahman is. If you do not have the right vision, if you do not have the right knowledge, correct? So Pashyanti Jnana Chakshushaha, correct? So Vimuda Nanu Pashyanti Jnana Chakshushaha. So in the Bhagavad Gita also is there, right? So the person who is Vimuda, a person who is not a wise person, Nanu Pashyanti, he will not be able to see. Vimuda Nanu Pashyanti Jnana Chakshushaha. So only through Jnanam only the person can see. So you cannot see knowledge through just your physical eyes. One need to understand your own true nature only by Jnanam. So any amount of activity you do, you go and look at the mirror, you can beautify yourself, you can look only what you look like outside. But if you want to look at your own inside self, you need to have another mirror called Shastra. So only through the Shastram, only through the mirror only you can look at yourself inside. And that mirror is something we cannot look outside. You have to search. So you have to study. That's why it says here, Rishir Bhavati. So the one who sees this very clearly, what does he become? Brahma Gatashri, Agatashri. So he welcomes the Brahman. Or here Agatashri also denotes wealth, means this is something like a wealth which is cannot be measured. You can count rupees, you can count dollars, you can count properties, cars, you can count all the jewelry, etc. You can count. You can put a number to it, you can value it. But this particular knowledge cannot be counted, it cannot be stolen. So Nachora Haryam, Nachabharya Karyam. So Nachora Haryam means what? Nobody can steal this. And Nachabharya Karyam. If you have 20 kilo on your head, you will feel heavy. You will collapse. But if you have 20 Upanishads studying in your mind, you will still not feel very heavy because it doesn't have anything. So Nachabharya Karyam. So Bharyam is not very heavy. Anything you study is not going to make it more heavy. It is going to only make it more lighter and easy to understand. Correct? That is why knowledge is something one can never steal. They can take money from you. They can take everything from you. But the knowledge which is within your head, nobody can steal it unless you pass it. So it is like a lifelong wealth. That's why Agatashri. So Brahma Agatashri means what? I welcome this Brahman who is of the nature of immense wealth or immeasurable wealth. So when you say Brahma Gatashri, means you go. Oh, wealth, please you go. So you do not want to say that. So always extend the word Brahma Gatashri. So extend the word Brahma Gatashri. It's Brahma Agatashri. Correct? Then Uta Tvayaha. So Brahma Agatashri Uta Tvayaha. So the Utaha is actually a meter. It talks about a meter here. Uta means moreover. So it means moreover by you. So the person who is blessed by you, the person who is Jushta, blessed by you, becomes a Rishi, Bhavati, and also by you, moreover. So Utatvaya, moreover, by you, he understands Brahma Agatashri. That's how we read it. So Utatvaya, Brahma Agatashri, Jushta Rishir Bhavati. You got it? Able to follow, right, Pushpaji? Okay. So, Tvaya Jushta Rishir Bhavati Devi Tvaya Brahma Katashri Rutatvaya. Then, Tvaya Jushta Chitram Vindate. Tvaya Jushta Chitram Vindate Vasusano Tvaya Jushta Chitram Vindate Vasusano Jushasva Dravino Namedhe. So Tvaya Jushta again. So, Tvaya Jushta, again blessed by you. So, again blessed by you. Chitram Vindate. So, Chitram here talks about the different forms. So, Chitram means the drawing, or Chitram means the pictures. So, Chitram here talks about the different forms. So, or that which is of the nature of different varieties and which is also great. So the forms which are of many varieties and which are of different, illustrious forms, you can say that. So, Tvaya Justus, the one who is blessed by you, Chitram Vindate. So, what does Chitram Vindate? Vasuhu. So, Vasu means wealth. Vasu means wealth. So, the one who is blessed by you attains different forms of wealth. So, the word Srihi also determines wealth here. So, Sri itself means wealth and Srihi means all types of wealth. So, when you're asking for wealth, you do not ask for only one thing. You give everything because you do not know what you require. Right? Today you may need property, you may need, progeny, you may need, money, etc., or something else, health you need. All of them is called Srihi. So that's why we have, when we ask for mantra also we have, right? So Mahyam, Shriyam, Medham, Pragyancha, Prayachaswaha. See, there's a mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate, Om Namo Bhagavate, Dakshina Murtaye. Om Namo Bhagavate, Dakshina Murtaye. Mahyam, Shriyam, Medham, Pragyancha, Prayachaswaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Pragyancha Prayachaswaha. So, Om Namo Bhagavate means my namaskara to that Bhagavate, to you, Bhagavan, Mahyam to me. So, you're asking there a prayer. It's a complete prayer. You do not need to do any prayer at all. This prayer is a complete prayer because you are saying Om, which symbolizes this entire Srishti, correct? All of the Jagat, including the physical body, everything. Om, I'm worshipping you. And who is my salutations to you, Namo, and Bhagavate. So, who is the nature of Bhagavan. So, Bhagavan, unto you, my salutations. And what are you asking for? Mahyam, to me. First was your Shriyam, Mahyam Shriyam. So Vasu here denotes Shriyam. So the wealth. So you're asking for all wealth. You're not asking for give me property, Shri. Don't like this. Shri, ask everything. Why are you stingy in asking? Nothing wrong in asking. What you are eligible, only you'll get it. It doesn't matter whether what you are going to ask, you are going to get it or not. What is ordained in your life, only you'll get it. Whether you like it or not, that is what it is. Because it's already what is written there, only you'll get it. So there's nothing wrong in asking, ask. So Mahyam, Shriyam. Then Medham. So Medha means all intellect. Give me all buddhi. Whatever is right for me, you give me that intellect. I will decide what is right or wrong. Correct? And Pragyan. Pragyan means jnanam. So give me jnanam, knowledge, give me the intellect, give me the wealth. What can you else want? If you have all the wealth in this life, everything you got, if you got all the intellect which is available there, and you got the knowledge to know everything also, what else do you need in this life? You don't need anything else. So then Prayatya Swaha. So unto you, please give me this. So I prayatnam and do this. That's why here also, sometimes I remember these things because the mantras are connected. So Tvaya, by you, Jushta, mean the one who is blessed by you. What does he get? He gets Vasu Chitram Vindate. So he gets wealth in all forms. Chitram means different varieties, different forms. He attains, he gets. Then, so Vasu Sano. So such a unto the Bhagavan, Ashano, to the Medha Devi, Jushasva, again blessing, again keep on asking a blessing. Please bless me, please bless me, please bless me. Because that is the only way you can get the Bhagavan's grace. See, when you are in the prayer mode, what else you ask for? Please bless me. So you ask for blessings from elders, from the guru, the teacher, from all the people who only want blessing. They can only give that. They cannot give anything else. Correct. If you go to a rich person and you say, bless me means he'll give you $100. If you come to a guru and says, bless me means, okay, you study Shastram. I'll give you Bhagavad Gita book, read. No, I don't want Bhagavad Gita book. So what it means is that different people give different things. So you ask for everything. So you ask for this knowledge, you ask for that wealth, so that you get everything in one shot. If you're lucky, you'll get it. So Jushasva, so may you bless. And what? Dravinam. So Dravyam means the with wealth. So what all the Dravyam which is required. So you're not asking only for this, all Dravyam, Dravinona Medhe. So, and the lot of intellect. So the wealth of intellect you're asking for. So Dravinona Medhe. So the Medha itself is intellect, and you're asking for all sorts of wealth and also more of intellect. So you're not satisfied just with intellect. You said, give me the best intellect what you have. If I have some intellect, let me be more intellectual. So when you say intellectual person, he's a highly intellectual person. We say, no? We just intellectual, correct? So a person, you know? And then, okay, moderately intellectual, Madhyam Purusha. Then Uttama Purusha is highly intellectual person, very highly intellectual. So you have three different categories, correct? Adama Purusha, Madhyama Purusha, Uttama Purusha. So Adama Purusha is somewhere start. Everybody starts with Adama Purusha only, lower level. So everybody starts somewhere saying that, okay, I think I want to know, I know something here and there. So you have half grown knowledge. Then the Madhyama Purusha actually becomes from an ethical person to a religious person. So what does Bhajagovindam does for you? Bhajagovindam actually does. An ordinary person who is neither anybody, he becomes first an ethical person. He teaches him dharma. Then an ethical person is already ethical person. He becomes a religious person. And if a person is already in the spiritual path, Bhajagovindam converts him into a spiritual person. So there's a process of conversion happening at different levels depending on who is at what level. So here also, he says here, Dravinona Medhe means, give me the wealth of all the wealth, the intellectual wealth which you can give me. So you're not asking for ordinary wealth, asking for the most intellectual wealth. So you want to be the best. You want to be at a position where you can discriminate very, very clearly and you do not have half knowledge. So you got knowledge, intellectual capacity is there, but it is not fully grown. So there's always some doubt coming in between. So let me not have any doubts. Let me have clear knowledge. That's what it says here. Tvaya jushta chitram vindate vasusano jushasva dhrabino namhedhe. Is it clear, this verse? Okay. Yes.
Dravinamtege Amritadam meaning unda.
No.
Okay.
See, Dravinam means here, talks about Dravyam or the wealth, talks about. Wealth also is what is Amritattvam. Wealth is indirectly in a way connected, because if you have intellect, if you become known with Brahman, then it is you are intellectual, you know what it is. So indirectly you're asking for, because the previous verse you talked about what? Brahma Gatashri, correct? So let me know Brahman, let me understand Brahman correctly. So if you understand Brahman correctly, then there should not be any more doubt later on. Oh, I understood last week Brahman correctly. This week I think I got again doubt. So some people come and ask, Guruji, you keep talking consciousness. What is consciousness? What is Atma? After 6 months they'll come and ask, Hada Rama. So after explaining all Ramayana, etc., then you say, you know, Lakshmana is Rama's Chittappa, like this. Then it becomes difficult. You know? So because it is not because it's an error in perception, because the person who is consistent is not regular. So suddenly if you hear a term, after 6 months you come to class, or if you once in, they keep telling, if you attend one class a month, it is difficult. If you attend 3 classes a month, it is okay. You will probably remember something. But if you attend, you know, drop in and drop out, you just come whenever you feel like, you will understand something, you may not understand something. After 6 months, you'll totally forget also. See, people who studied for so many years, they forget. It is not only you. People are studying. So why people study? Because of they don't want to forget. So imagine people don't come at all and they don't do effort. How it will be? They come and ask. See, this consciousness manifestation, all this you talk about, you know, all gold and water, everything. Can you repeat again what it is? Like again, you have to start from the beginning. Aya, Maya, everything. So you don't have time to teach them. So that's why you say here what the power of intellect. So Dravinona Mede means let me be given the power so that I'll be able to attain what I require in my life. Correct? Then next one. We will do one, the first line. I know it is very late in New Zealand for you guys. I will just do only this line. Next week we'll continue the meaning of this particular line. Medham Indro Dhadhatu. Medham Indro Dhadhatu. Medham Devi Saraswati. It's a very easy line. See, Indro me dadatu. So let Indra, please give me this. Because why you ask Indra? Because Indra is somebody who is a Devata of Devatas. So he is a Mahadeva. So not Mahadeva, not Ishvara. He is the Lord of all the Devas. So all the Agni, Varuna, Vayu, etc., they all report to him. So if you want, you know, everything to be working perfectly in order, rains has to come, sun has to come, you know, and the wind has to blow properly, everything, then Indra has to be pleased. And Indra is also supposed to be the one who is of the nature of contemplative Bhagavan. See, in the Kenopanishad, you know, there is a particular story where one Yaksha, when the Samudra Mantram is going on, at that time, Lord Shiva actually protected the Devas and the Asuras, and the Devas ultimately became victorious by having the Amrita. And Vishnu came and, you know, he protected the Mohini form, etc. He found out everything. That's a different thing. But ultimately, Devas were victorious. So the Devas, when they were victorious, they forgot about who was the person behind the victory. They forgot that the Bhagavan was the one who was made them victorious. So they were rejoicing in the Indraloka, enjoying, and they were talking about, oh, what Agni did, what Indra did, I did this, you know, we are all victorious. Asuras were being criticized, etc. So to teach them a lesson, Bhagavan said, okay, these people are all, Indra itself is so, you know, ahankara, then what will happen if, you know, if Indra itself becomes so carried away by ahankara? So it has to be brought down. So Deva is supposed to be Sattvic Guna. So if Sattvic Guna itself become very ahankaric in nature, then it's a problematic for the entire Loka. Right? So he may do whatever he wants. Like in the Krishna also, Govardhana Giridhari also, you saw how Indra actually, you know, Krishna teaches him a lesson that even though you may be Indra, but you do not have any power. So time and time again, the Bhagavan will come in some form teaching lesson. So in that also there's a teaching there. So what it says here, Indra is highly extolled by the people because he has got exemplary powers. He has got a capacity of the control of all the devas. He can create a lot of problems. And so we must not be, you know, going against it. So all of the ahuti which you give, you know, the rituals you do, the Sandhyavandanam you do, everything is actually for Indra Bhagavan. Correct. So the rituals are taken by Agni. And Agni is called Havya Vahana. So Havya Vahana means any oblation to Indra, any god, will not be taken without Agni being involved. So Agni is a transporter. So only through the transporter only you are able to transport things. That's why Agni always goes up. Agni never follows sideways. Because anything you pour in Agni, it will flare up. Because it will immediately take it upstairs to the Devatas. And Agni, Devatas will reject any oblation if you do not have Agni Karya. So that's why in our ritual, in our culture, Agni is Agni Sakshi. See, even wedding people they may not do even wedding at all. What do? In front of Agni, they tie a thread. They tie saying that, see, Agni is Sakshi and you are the witness. Means what? You are witnessing my marriage to this woman. And by this, all the devas are also being witnessing this. So it is the Sakshi. So that's why Agni is worshipped there. So devatas are also impressed. That's why Indra. So Medham Indro Dadhatu. And Medham Devi Saraswati. So you are asking Saraswati for Medha and Indra also for Medha. Why we are asking two different things, we'll see next class. Is it clear? Are there any questions from today's class? Anyone has got any questions? Hope I made it clear. I think I have made it clear. I enjoyed the class.
We enjoyed it too. Nice.
Very good, Pushpaji. I mean, sometimes I wonder at all these people who written these mantras, how beautiful they written mantras. And when I learned chanting at that time, many years ago, I don't know, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I had no idea about all these things. So now, after studying for so many years, now when you start understanding this and repeating again, your mind actually is with the mantras. So you are very clear, you are chanting slowly, your focus is there, you do not divulge here and there, you do not look here and there. Every word makes a sense. So it really makes a big difference.
You should talk to us one day about your journey.
Me, it's been there for 15 years now. I don't know. I started with, we'll talk about it. I think a lot of teachers have come and gone. And there are still teachers. But now I think, I'm quite okay now on my own. So I don't have a stick by say at the moment. Okay, so we'll see next class and we'll see how we go with this next mantra. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaste. Shubhradri to all of you.
Thank you, Guru.
Finished contract.